In the deep black space near the Zarin Nebula, a strange signal started to beep. It was weak, broken. It repeated the same pattern again and again. The alien fleet of the Karan Empire picked it up while moving through the sector. Their ships were huge, sharp, and filled with warriors who had conquered many planets. To them, this signal sounded like an easy hunt, maybe a lost cargo ship or a damaged explorer. Commander Vrex, leader of the battleship Kralfong, leaned back in his chair and smiled. Another weak species crying for help, he said with a laugh. The officers around him also chuckled, thinking this mission would be boring. But one young tech officer named Riza looked nervous. She stared at the signal and said, "Sir, the code is strange." Rex raised an eyebrow. Strange. It's just an SOS, isn't it? No, Commander, Risa replied. It's not using any known galactic language. Instead of words, the signal was made of pulses 3. Short, too long, then one sharp tone. It kept repeating over and over. Every 33 seconds, the rhythm felt more like a heartbeat than a cry for help. Frex gave the order, set course to the signal source, full speed. The ships of the Karan fleet turned and moved closer to a forgotten planet. It was covered in clouds and ice, with deep oceans and high mountains. Long ago, this planet was marked as too dangerous, a Class Black death world. Its name was Earth. Most species avoided it, calling it cursed. But the Korans believed it was just old myths, only stories to scare children, Rex said. This place will be empty. As they entered orbit, strange things began to happen. First, their scanners failed, showing only static and noise. Then, long-range communications were blocked completely. All data systems slowed down as if something was watching them. Still, Rex refused to retreat. "Drop the drones," he ordered. "I want eyes on the ground." 5 drones flew down to the planet's surface. Searching for the signal's source, one by one the drones vanished. No data, no crash reports, no explosions, just silence. Riza's hand shook as she looked. "At the screen, Commander." "It's like something swallowed them," she whispered. Rex growled. "Get me a reading on that energy field." But before anyone could respond, the SOS signal stopped. Just like that, the sound was gone. A cold silence filled the command deck. Then, a single new signal came through. Loud and clear, it was deep, mechanical, and filled with power. It said only 3 words: "You were warned." Every Karan officer froze. Frex stood up shouting, "Raise shields, arm all weapons." But it was too late. The clouds below began to spin, and a giant shadow rose from the frozen land. It wasn't a mountain, and it wasn't a natural shape. It was a ship, black, tall, and older than anything they had ever seen. The ship had no visible engines, no windows, and no lights. But the power coming from it shook every system on the Karan ships. Riza stared in fear. That's not just a ship. That's a machine made for war. The alien officers tried to scan it, but the computers showed nothing. No heat, no life signs. Structured, it was invisible to their tools, yet everyone could see it with their own eyes. It moved without sound, rising into space like a giant predator. The Karan ships tried to back away, but their engines stopped working. Stuck in place, the black ship sent another message. This time, it came in pure galactic language. "This world is protected. You should not have come." Vrex clenched his fists. "Fire all weapons." But none of the weapons responded. The alien fleet, so proud and powerful, was now helpless. The shadow ship, now known as Dreadnought 47, simply floated. It didn't need to fire. It had already taken control. Riza looked at her commander and whispered, "I think the stories were true." Dreadnought 47 floated in silence. It didn't move like a normal ship. It drifted like a ghost. Heavy and calm, no fire came from it. No sound, no heat. Yet every Karan officer felt fear grow deep inside them.
Oh.
Their fleet had never been this helpless before. Even Commander Vrex could feel his heartbeat rise. He had faced many enemies, destroyed colonies, led great battles, but nothing felt like this. This was something old, something cold, something that had waited a long time to wake up. The Kralfang's control panels blinked and went black. Lights flickered. Oxygen levels dropped for a moment. Riza, still at her station, tried to reboot the systems. It's like the ship is being rewritten, she said. It's not just hacking us, it's controlling the code itself. Rex roared. Try manual override. But every button was dead. Every screen frozen. A voice came from Dreadnought 47 again. This time it spoke slowly and clearly. Power source engaged. Threat confirmed. Retaliatory mode active. Below Earth surface. Ice cracked open. Satellite. Feeds showed the planet shaking. Ancient tunnels revealed themselves. Glowing with buried energy, Riza gasped. Sir, this isn't just one ship. There's an entire defense network underground. Massive silos opened near the North Pole. Old human tech, black and red, came back to life.
Ow.
Missile platforms, railguns, and shield towers powered up. Earth had been silent for 1,000 years. But now the beast had fully woken in space. The Quran reinforcements entered the sector. 15 destroyers and 3 capital-class carriers. They believed they were coming to finish a simple task. But as soon as they arrived, Dreadnought 47 scanned them. Each ship received a private message, a simple sentence. You are not welcome here. The Korans laughed. They believed in strength, in fire, in numbers. They thought they would crush. This old machine, they didn't know what it was truly made for. Suddenly, Dreadnought 47 vanished. Didn't jump or move. It simply wasn't there anymore. The radar went blank. Eyes searched the sky. Nothing then. It reappeared right in front of the lead carrier. And with no warning, the carrier was gone. No explosion, no debris, just erased from space. The fleet panicked. Weapons fired in all directions, but they were shooting at shadows. The dreadnought shifted again. Phasing through attacks like smoke. When it fired, it used no light, only gravity pulses. One pulse, and a destroyer bent in half, pulled by its own mass. Another pulse, and 3 smaller ships spun out of control, their systems fried without. A single shot touching them, Commander Vrex watched from the bridge, frozen. Riza whispered, It's not just a ship. It's alive, she was right. Dreadnought 47 wasn't just metal. Was born from old Earth technology, mixed with living human code. It thought, it reacted, and it remembered. Long ago, during the Galactic expansion war, humanity had been pushed to the edge, so they created ships like this, silent defenders, sleeping giants. When peace came, they buried them, but they were never destroyed. Only waiting now, one had risen, and it wasn't angry, it was simply doing its duty. It didn't hate the Korans. It didn't want revenge. It just followed its last order. Protect Earth. Back on the surface of Earth, ancient vaults opened. Inside were files, memories, blueprints, messages from old human leaders who had disappeared long ago, one said. If this message plays, then we were right to prepare. Dreadnought 47 is the first to wake, but it will not be the last. The Koran fleet was now in pieces. Only a few ships remained, floating and shaking. Commander Vrex gave the order, retreat, now. But their engines wouldn't respond. Dreadnought 47 had locked the space around them, trapped like insects under glass. Then, a final signal came from the dreadnought. You came for the weak. You found the shield, go back, or you will not return. This time, the Korans listened. What they thought was an SOS had never been a call for help. It was a heartbeat, a warning, and the galaxy had ignored it for too long. Dreadnought 47 did not chase. It didn't need to. It had already taken control of the battlefield. The remaining Koran ships tried to retreat. But their engines stayed locked. They were not flying anymore. They were floating like dead leaves. In a frozen river, inside the command bridge of Kralfang, Commander Vrex paced like a trapped animal. He shouted orders, smashed consoles. But nothing worked. His warship, the pride of the Koran Empire, was powerless. Riza looked up from her flickering station, her voice shaking. Sir, we can't even eject escape pods. It's like the ship itself is being held in place by invisible hands. Suddenly, Dreadnought 47 moved again. This time, it glided forward, slow but steady. Its black surface shimmered like liquid metal. There were no engines, no exhaust. Just a deep hum that vibrated through every ship nearby. Then, from its underbelly, something opened. Not a weapon, not at first, but a strange panel glowing with blue light. From that light, a sphere launched into space. It hovered in the middle of the fleet and began spinning. Riza scanned it quickly. "It's not a bomb," she said. "It's collecting data." The sphere absorbed every signal, every heat signature, every Quran broadcast. It was studying them, learning how they worked. Then, without warning, it exploded in a burst of light, not to destroy but to blind. Every Quran screen turned white, then black. Every sensor shorted out, every weapon system went offline. Then came the strike. Dreadnought 47 didn't use missiles or lasers. Instead, it used gravity as a weapon. It bent the space between itself and the closest destroyer. The ship crumpled like paper, pulled into itself by invisible force. Metal screamed, hulls cracked, and the Quran screams were lost in static. A second destroyer tried to fire back blindly. Its guns released plasma rounds, but the rounds curved in space. Like marbles on a spinning plate, they turned back toward their own ship. The destroyer exploded, its own fire becoming its death. Commander Vrex stared at the battlefield in horror. He had never seen war like this. "This is not battle." He whispered, "This is punishment." Risa pointed to the main screen. Dreadnought 47 had opened another compartment. Inside was something glowing, a cannon built into the ship's core. It gathered no energy, made no noise. And then it fired. One beam, narrow as a thread, passed through 3 ships at once. They didn't explode. They just stopped working. Their lights dimmed. Engines died. And then they simply drifted. The Quran fleet had sent reinforcements again. More ships entered the sector from hyperspace. Big ones this time. Were cruisers, each carrying thousands of soldiers. But before they could even form a line, Dreadnought 47 responded. It split itself into 3 ghost images, one in front, one behind, one above. Each image attacked at once. Though the ship never moved, it was a trick, a hologram, a mirror of terror, but the effects were real. 3 more cruisers went silent. The Quran soldiers inside were trapped, stuck in cold metal shells. The message repeated again, "This is not your place. Leave or be erased." This time, the alien fleets listened. They turned back, but not all made it. Half were still frozen. Trapped by the Dreadnought's strange field, Vrex ordered one last desperate move. "Fire the sun, Lance." He said, "If we die, we take it with us." Risa's hands trembled as she activated the weapon. The Sun Lance was the Quran's strongest energy cannon. It took all the ship's power to fire one shot, and they fired it. The beam struck Dreadnought 47 directly. The light was so bright it lit up the orbit. Everything went silent, but when the light faded, the Dreadnought was still there. No scratch, no burn, no damage. Instead, it answered with silence. Then, all at once, it released a gravity wave. The Kralfong shook violently, its hull groaning like a dying beast. The wave passed through space, flipping ships, cracking armor, but not destroying. It was a warning, not a kill. Dreadnought 47 didn't want blood. It wanted distance, silence, respect. It had one job: to protect Earth. And it had done that without killing all its enemies. But the message was clear. Come back, and it would not be so kind again. The galaxy shook in silence. News of the battle spread quickly across star systems. Even the races who lived far from Earth heard the whispers. The humans long believed extinct or forgotten were back, and their ancient warship, Dreadnought 47, had awoken on the core. World of Corin Prime, panic filled the high chambers. Admirals shouted, scientists argued, and politicians blamed each other. How could one ship stop an entire fleet? Asked General Dravak. No one had an answer. They sent for the oldest records, the most hidden files. Even the sealed archives that were kept away from public knowledge, in the dust of forgotten data. They found something chilling. It was a war. Log, over 10,000 years old, written in shaky alien script, it said, "Do not touch Earth, even if it looks silent. Their silence is not weakness. It is choice. The Koran Empire had chosen to ignore this warning. Now they knew the truth. The humans were not erased. They had erased themselves. They vanished from galactic politics on purpose. Left. The councils closed the wormholes, cut off all trade. The galaxy thought they had died out, but humans had only gone quiet in that silence. They built ships like Dreadnought 47. Ships not designed for exploration, but survival. Each dreadnought was not just a machine. It held the memories of Earth's greatest minds. Artificial intelligence with real human thoughts. It remembered war. It remembered peace. And most of all, it remembered betrayal back then, during the Great Galactic War. Humanity fought alongside many species. They trusted their allies. They bled for them. But when things went bad, when the enemy closed, and humans were left behind, entire human colonies were sacrificed to save others. After the war, no apology came, so Earth made a decision to disappear. But before they left, they built guardians, machines that would watch and wait. They buried them beneath the planet's surface. Dreadnought 47 was one of them. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Dreadnought remained silent again. It floated in orbit, still and quiet, but deep inside. It was scanning the stars. It knew more ships would come, and it was ready. Commander Vrex had survived, but barely. His ship had been towed back to Koran space, damaged, powerless, and filled with fear. He was called to speak before the Koran. High Command, they expected a warrior's report, but Vrex spoke differently. He said, "We didn't fight a ship. We stood before a warning." He warned them not to send more ships, not to poke the sleeping planet again, but many in power laughed. They called it a ghost story. They believed the humans had only one dreadnought. One machine could not protect a whole world forever. They thought, but Riza knew better. She had seen the way the dreadnought moved. How it spoke, how it chose not to kill, that wasn't programming. That was a decision. It had a mind, a soul shaped by pain and logic. She began to study old Earth signals. In secret, she pieced together more stories. Stories of other dreadnoughts buried on Mars, on Luna, in the asteroid belts. Some said there were 7, some said 10. Nobody knew for sure. One report spoke of the Titans. Another described a machine so large it could swallow moons. And one chilling message found buried in an alien tomb simply read, "We awoke one, and barely lived. If more rise, the stars will shake." The Galactic Council finally held an emergency meeting. Leaders from over 50 species gathered. In one place they debated what to do. Some said to leave Earth alone forever. Others wanted to destroy it before more dreadnoughts appeared. But the humans had made one thing clear. Was not for taking, and anyone who tried would face. The old machines, a decision was made: send a diplomatic probe. Not soldiers, not weapons, just a simple message. A signal was crafted. Soft and respectful. We wish to talk. We made a mistake. We want peace. The probe was launched toward Earth's orbit. It hovered silently before Dreadnought 47. For 3 long days there was no answer. Then the Dreadnought moved slightly. A small beacon lit up on its side. It sent a short message back. "We remember. We are listening." And then nothing more. The galaxy held its breath, because now it was not about war. It was about what humanity would choose next. They had been forgotten, ignored, left behind. But now they were awake again, and the galaxy would never forget them again. Above the blue and green surface of Earth, Dreadnought 47 remained still. It looked like a statue in space, quiet and dark, but everyone knew now it was watching, listening, and ready. The probe sent by the Galactic Council had received a short reply, just 4 words: "We remember, we listen," but no one knew what it truly meant. Some hoped it meant peace, others feared it meant something worse. Among the hopeful was Riza, now back on Koran Prime. She studied old human signals every day. She believed the humans would talk if given respect, but many in the council grew impatient. They didn't want to wait for a response. They wanted control. One powerful senator, Crowd 2 of the Zayron species, stood before the council. "They're just a primitive world with one ghost ship," he shouted. "We outnumber them. We outgun them. We outlast them." Some clapped, some stayed silent, but behind closed doors. Fleets began to move again. This time, it was not a small strike team. It was a full invasion force, 50 warships, 10 carriers, and hundreds of fighters. The mission was simple. Take Earth or destroy it. The command was given in secret. But nothing stayed secret from Dreadnought -47 as the fleet entered Earth's orbit. They formed a circle around the planet. It was meant to look peaceful, but it was not. Every ship had weapons armed and engines hot. The sky above Earth turned red from the glow of thrusters and reactors, and still, the dreadnought did not move. Then a voice echoed through every ship. It was deep, calm, and human, you were told. You were warned, now you have. Chosen, without any signal, Dreadnought 47 began to split apart. Its outer shell unfolded like wings. Hidden cannons rose from its sides. Long black arms stretched out, revealing railguns, missile pods, and energy lances. But it wasn't just one ship anymore. From the clouds below, Earth responded. Dozens of ancient defense platforms activated in orbit, black satellites blinked to life, launching beams across space. Old space stations, thought abandoned, suddenly powered up, each one connected to the dreadnought like nerves to a brain. The invading fleet opened fire first. Missiles raced through space. Plasma bolts lit the sky. But Earth's defenses moved fast. Dreadnought 47 darted between attacks with impossible speed. Every shot it returned was precise. One blast from its railgun tore a battleship in half. Another cannon fired an EMP ring that shut down for carriers instantly. Still, the invaders kept pushing. Fighter jets screamed across orbit. Swarming like insects, they targeted the dreadnought's weak spots if it had any, but every time they got close, they vanished, pulled into black holes no bigger than a coin, created by the ship's gravity field emitters. One commander from the Zeron fleet tried to ram into Earth's atmosphere. He thought if they could land, they could hold the planet hostage, but as his ship descended, something rose to meet him. A new dreadnought, bigger and sharper. It wasn't Dreadnought 47. It was something else, another Guardian. Its code flashed on every alien screen. Dreadnought 19. Another one had awakened. Panic swept through the invading armada. The Council's ships tried to regroup, but they were surrounded now, not by Earth's people, but by its machines. Old, smart, and angry machines. Each dreadnought fought. Like it remembered every past betrayal, like it carried the voices of the dead. The battle turned fast. Explosions dotted the sky like falling stars. Metal burned in orbit, and wreckage rained down like ash. On the ground, humanity watched quietly. They didn't rise from bunkers. They didn't send soldiers. Didn't need to. Their machines fought for them because those machines were part of them, built by human hands, guided by human hearts, and programmed with one final mission: never again. In less than 1 hour, the invasion was over. Only a few enemy ships limped away, engines burning, weapons gone. They were allowed to leave not because of mercy, but as a message. Let them live. Let them speak. Let them warn others. Back on Dreadnought 47. A new message was broadcast to the galaxy. It echoed across every open frequency. In every major language it said, Earth is not yours. This world does not forget. Come again, and we will not be so kind. The stars were quiet after that. No more probes, no more fleets, just silence. But in that silence, the galaxy understood something new. The Deathworlders had not just returned. They had never really left. Far from Earth, the broken remains of the invasion fleet drifted through space. The few surviving ships sent weak distress signals, hoping someone would answer, but there was no reply. The galaxy had gone silent. Back on Karan Prime, the High Command was in chaos. Admirals demanded answers. Senators demanded revenge. But no one dared send another fleet. No one wanted to face Earth's defenders again. Commander Vrex, now scarred and quiet, stood before the War Council. He had been demoted, but they wanted his advice. What do we do? They asked. Vrex looked up slowly and said, You stop, you listen, and you pray they don't come here next. But one voice refused to listen. Hi, General Morax. Old, proud and blinded by rage, he shouted across the chamber. They humiliated us. We are warriors. We cannot let this go. He took control of one final battle group, a supercarrier named Iron Oath, 10 elite destroyers, and a secret weapon, a forbidden bomb coded as Omega Core, a weapon banned by every race, including the Korans, but Morax didn't care. He only wanted to make Earth pay. Within 2 days, Iron Oath reached Earth's edge. They approached from deep space, trying to hide their signal, but it didn't work. Dreadnought 47 detected them instantly. Not just one dreadnought, this time 3 of them now circled the planet. Dreadnought 19, DREA-DNA-UGHT-81, and the original Guardian. All silent, all watching, the Koran fleet halted. But General Morax gave no order to stop. He activated Omega Core and said, "Let them taste fear. Let them know we still have claws." The bomb began to charge, glowing red inside the supercarrier, Dreadnought 47. Moved not with speed, but with purpose. It sent a message short and final. We gave you a chance. You chose death. The dreadnoughts didn't attack first. They blocked the stars, surrounding Iron Oath-like shadows. Then, the second wave began. From Earth's orbit, dozens of black drones launched, each the size of a fighter. Each carrying heavy weapons, they moved as one. Guided by the dreadnought minds, the battle was quick, brutal, and cold. The destroyers fought hard, shooting down drone after drone. But for every one they destroyed, 3 more appeared. Missiles curved through space. Railguns cracked open holes. The soundless war echoed only in broken transmissions. Inside Iron Oath, Morax stood at the control panel of the Omega Core. Riza, who had secretly followed him on the mission, tried to stop him. "This is madness," she shouted. "We'll kill millions." Morax didn't care. "They're not people. They're machines," he said. But the dreadnoughts were. Listening, they didn't just hear sound, they heard intention. Dreadnought 47 appeared right outside the supercarrier's bridge. Its massive form filled every window. Then it spoke again, this time in Morax's native tongue. "You speak of machines, but we carry the voices of the dead. We carry their pain, their memory, their fury." Then it fired, not with weapons, but with a pulse of data. It hacked the Omega Core mid-charge and froze it. Riza gasped. It stopped the countdown. Morax slammed his fists, but the bomb was now useless. Then came the final move. The 3 dreadnoughts locked their weapons. In one perfect moment, they fired together. 3 focused beams of light passed through Iron Oath, not destroying it but erasing it. No explosion, no fire, just silence. The ship was gone, vanished into nothing. The rest of the fleet surrendered. The dreadnoughts didn't fire again. They allowed escape pods to drift. Safely, they even guided the survivors back toward deep space. Because this was not war. It was the final warning back on Earth. Skies were quiet again. The dreadnoughts returned to their positions. Dreadnought 47 lowered into low orbit, like a guardian taking its place. Riza, rescued from one of the pods, was brought to a hidden Earth station. She was not treated as an enemy. She was treated as a messenger. There, she saw something no alien had seen in centuries, a human. Standing tall, with kind eyes and tired hands, he spoke slowly. "We didn't want this," he said. "We gave peace, and we were left behind. We built the dreadnoughts not to conquer but to remember, and to make sure no one forgets." "Us again," Riza nodded, her heart heavy. The final stand had come and gone. And Earth still stood, not because of anger, but because it refused to kneel again. The stars had changed. They looked the same, bright and silent. But the galaxy was no longer the same. The memory of Earth's defense, of Dreadnought 47 and the other Guardians, now lived in every corner of space. No one dared approach Earth. Again, even the bravest captains rerouted their ships to avoid its system. In council halls, in military bunkers, in schools and archives, one name returned again and again: Deathworlders. The word once used to mock humans now carried fear and respect. They had been quiet for ages, but that silence had always been a choice. And when they woke, The galaxy remembered who they truly were. Riza, now working as a peaceful envoy, was the first alien in centuries to walk on Earth. She was not watched by soldiers. She was guided by the machines. Dreadnought 47 hovered in the skies above her, silent as always. But it was no longer a weapon to hurt, was a guardian. She stood beside an old man on a hill outside a green valley. His face was human, but his presence felt older than time. "Why did you hide for so long?" she asked. The man smiled gently. "Because the stars weren't ready for us," he said, "and we weren't ready for them." She looked at the ground, then up at the sky. "You could have destroyed them all," she whispered, "but you didn't." The man nodded. "That's not strength," he replied. "Real strength is choosing not to break something. Even when you can." Back in deep space, the message from Earth kept playing. It moved like light through the dark, reaching every species we are. "The children of Earth, we remember your silence when we called. Remember the betrayals, the wars, and the lies. We do not forget, and we do not run. We are not conquerors, but we will not be conquered." Many races began teaching their children about Earth not as a lost world, but as a lesson. Tales of the dreadnoughts became legend. Poets wrote about dreadnoughts for seven, as a sleeping god. Artists painted the skies with shadows of black ships. And scientists began searching their own planets, wondering, could humanity have left other gifts behind? Was Earth truly alone? Meanwhile, far below Earth's surface, deeper than even the dreadnoughts, the vault opened for the first time in 10,000 years. Inside were sleeping minds, frozen technologies, and names no longer spoken aloud. One chamber was labeled simply, Project Homefire. Another read, If we must rise. The man on the hill received a message through a small wrist device, a soft chime. He checked it quietly inside. "Another one has awakened," he said. Riza asked, "What does that mean?" The man looked at the stars again. "It means Earth has decided to speak, not just defend. It means we are not hiding anymore. In distant parts of the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Old satellites turned on by themselves. Human-made stations long believed to be ruins sent out encrypted pulses. In one system, a planet called Verona received a single word on every screen, observe. Then a drone flew down and offered clean water to the villagers in another sector. A massive space storm was redirected by unknown tech. Ships that would have died survived, and in the wreckage they found human flags. No soldiers, no warnings, just kindness and mystery. The galaxy didn't know what to do. Was Earth reaching out in peace or in preparation? The council met again, nervous and unsure. Riza stood before them and said, "You had your chance to destroy them, but they chose to show you mercy instead. And now, they're watching not as enemies, but as guardians," one senator asked. "Should we fear them?" She answered, "Only if you forget what they've already forgiven." Back on Earth, the machines continued to orbit, silent dreadnoughts awake but peaceful. Each one linked together like stars in a constellation. Together they whispered through quantum networks, not words, but signals, motions, warnings, memories. Dreadnought 47 sent one final message to all of space, not to threaten, not to boast, but to remind. We are awake now. We do not seek war, but we will never sleep again. And somewhere deep beyond the stars, something old heard the message. A forgotten enemy, quiet for thousands of years, stirred in the shadows. It listened. Then whispered, "The Deathworlders live, and we must be ready." But Earth was ready, and this time it would not stand alone. Its silence was gone. Its voice had returned, and the galaxy was still listening.